This video was brought to you thanks to World of Tanks. In the 1830s in southern China, a man named Hong Quan failed the entrance exams to the Chinese civil service 4 times. After the 4th exam in 1837, he began to enter deliriums and have visions where he was visited by a great paternal figure in the sky. And over the next few years he began studying the Christian literature brought in by early Protestant missionaries to the region, and he believed he was the brother of Jesus. Along with the religious preachings, he also spoke out against the Qing dynasty, thus appealing to the population in this period of turmoil. The increasing population left millions poor and unemployed, and the ruling Qing dynasty had, by 1842, been humiliated by the British in the First Opium War. Plus, the Qing were also Manchus from the north, and the more populous Han Chinese saw them as foreign invaders. So by January 1851, Hong had gained tens of thousands of followers and established the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom in Guangxi. The Chinese tried to suppress the movement the following month, but Hong's well-organized followers were able to drive the Qing away. From here they moved east and captured Yong'an in September, and Hong was proclaimed Heavenly King. The Qing laid siege to Yong'an, but in April 1852, the Taiping were able to smash their way through the besiegers and began to advance again. They sacked the city of Guangzhou and pushed north, gaining thousands of new recruits on the way, and captured the important city of Wuhan in early 1853. They soon left Wuhan but took with them the city's gold and, most importantly, boats. This new navy allowed the Taiping to sail on the Yangtze River and conquer Nanjing, the historic capital of China. Nanjing was then made the capital of the Heavenly State, and they pushed north on Peking with 70,000 men. But poor supply lines and costly conflicts with the Qing forced them to retreat in 1855. However, the Qing could not capitalize on the Taiping's failure because of a number of issues facing the country in the mid-1850s. The Nian Rebellion intensified in 1855, the Miao revolted in Guizhou, the Small Knife Society rebelled in Shanghai, Muslims rebelled in Dali, the Nepalese invaded Tibet, the British started the Second Opium War, and the Russians annexed territory in the north. But inside Nanjing, the Taiping were also dealing with problems of their own. Hong retreated into his palace and away from public life, and many of his strict laws were not being followed. Plus, his subordinate kings began to struggle for control, and as part of the Tianjin incident, tens of thousands were killed. Plus, 2 of his subordinate kings, the North King and East King, died, leaving the Yi King in control of most of the military. However, Hong feared his new power, so the Yi King, fearing being executed, fled with most of his armies, greatly weakening the Taiping forces. Hong's cousin Hong Rengan took over the running of the kingdom and tried to reform the nation's economy and mindset. But in 1860, the other military commanders launched a campaign to expand. They took Guangzhou and Suzhou and then assaulted Shanghai. Now, the Taiping had tried to form alliances with the Western powers, but the Western powers did not like this new threat to Shanghai, as they now had considerable commercial interest in the city after the Opium Wars were concluded. So during the Battle of Shanghai, which lasted until 1862, thousands of British and French aided the Qing in driving the Taiping back. The Qing, led by the likes of British General Charles George Gordon, pursued the Taiping back to Nanjing and laid siege to the city in 1864. The constant back and forth of armies left the countryside plundered, and many were dying of starvation and disease. Plus, the armies constantly massacred cities' inhabitants, all of which helped bring the estimated death toll of the conflict to around 20 million, making it one of the most deadly events in human history. But the Qing troops finally entered Nanjing in the summer of 1864. There they found the people starving, and Hong had already died, possibly of food poisoning weeks earlier. Fearing repercussions, many of the Taiping fled to Southeast Asia, where they formed their own bandit armies, and there they became particularly powerful and fought against the Vietnamese, the French and the Siamese. This video was brought to you thanks to World of Tanks, a free-to-play multiplayer game which puts you in control of a whole host of historically accurate tanks. Fighting across open fields, deserts or forests, you can deploy all sorts of tactics to win against millions of other players and upgrade your weaponry for free along the way. And if you sign up using the code below, you will get a free T127 tank, 500 gold and 7-day premium access. So if you join up using the link in the description below, you will not only be supporting this channel, but will stand a far better chance on the battlefield. So good luck out there.